Okay, the next section that I will be discussing is the 3D referencing within your sheet. So we've done this in the past, or at least parts of this. We've had an expense summary, or we've had a summary sheet that we've created, but up until now you've really only brought information in from one sheet to the other. So in the past, you would have said equals, you'd point to a different sheet, and we're going to bring the rent value from that different sheet onto this other page. We've done that before. So if you look at that, it's really a formula that's saying take the contents of C5, but if we look up here at our formula bar, we notice that it's identifying the actual sheet, not the contents of this current sheet, but the contents of the sheet called January. But I don't want this to be just January's information. This is a total year-to-date or annual expenses year-to-date, so I want to include the information for rent that sits in the January, the February, the March, and so on cells, the rent in each of those cells. And I want to add them all up together so that I get a total amount. So I could do this. I could say equals January rent plus February rent plus March rent, and keep going like that. So let's just do those 3 months. And you could see how that could get pretty tedious. So did it do my calculation? Absolutely. It allowed the software to know that you're going to go to sheet January and look at cell C5 and add it to the contents that's sitting in C5 on sheet February and March and so on. But I've got 12 of those to do. Boy, that would be a lot of work. That would take some time. So why don't we use the sum function that we've used before? That will help us as well. So let's go ahead and use the sum function. And so the first thing it wants to know is what's the first number? Okay, I'm going to go and grab the first number. Hit the comma sign because they're not right next to each other. I can't go through. So now I can select the February number, comma, March number. And again, I'll stop here because, again, while that happened before to make life a lot easier using the sum function, in this case, it really didn't make it any easier. I still had to go and grab each individual cell on each worksheet. So there has to be another way, and there is. We're going to use the sum function because we have multiple cells, so we don't want to use that, take this plus this plus this. We want to use the cell function, but I want to capitalize on the fact that we can group things together. So the first thing I want to do is say, all right, I'm on my expenses summary tab. I want the software to know that I'm putting in a formula. So I'm going to start it with the equal sign. I'm actually going to use the sum command, and I'm going to hit the open paren. I'm going to go to January, but I'm going to do something special here. I'm going to hold the shift key down, and I'm going to select December through January, and now all of my sheets are selected. Now I'm going to say take the cell C5 on all of my sheets, January through December, and use the cell C5 from there and sum them up. And now I'm going to hit the back paren, close my parenthesis, and look at that. Now, again, let's double click on here so you can see the formula. It's saying take the sum of the sheets January through December, the colon right there means through, and grab the contents of cell C5 in each of those sheets. Great. Let's do it one more time so that you see it again. So equal sum, click on the next sheet that I want to include, I'm going to hold down my Shift key, select through December, and I'm going to select the power now in this case. Whoops, sorry. Whoa, I didn't do that right. Okay, let's try it again. Equals sum, select January, hold down the Shift key, select through December. You have to keep your Shift key down. Don't lift your finger up with your Shift key. That was what I did wrong. And now select the power. Keep holding your Shift key, close the parenthesis, hit enter. Perfect. So I'm going to quickly show this in formula view. I have to open this up a bit so that you can see the formula. And you'll notice that my formulas have created, and the difference between this line up here is that it's going to use contents of C5 in sheets January through December. The row 6 is going to use the contents in C6, January through December. Now, because these are in relative referencing, I actually can go ahead and copy these formulas down through all of these cells. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up, and you'll notice that January through December, cell C5, which should be the water expense, I'm summing up the water expense from January through December. I'm summing up the cable expense January through December, and so on. So that's how you can use the grouping to create multiple, or to create formulas that go in and out of your sheet.